It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ, where business becomes show business. Now, live in studio and promoting the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy, your host, Jamie Meloni.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday, and welcome yet again to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Hope everybody had a great weekend and is off to a good start here on this early Monday morning. And keep in mind, you can open up each of your weekdays with That Business Show. Just tune in here weekdays at 8 a.m. to 1250 WHNZ. And this show is all about business owners, entrepreneurs, political leaders, and people making a difference in and around the Tampa Bay community. Also, I invite you over to my website where you can learn more about this show over at tampabayradio.com. On the site, you can contact me for a guest appearance as well as see past shows of That Business Show with Jamie Meloni. Just head over to the show info tab. And also, you can see our extensive guest network. We're in our 11th week now, and 50 shows under my belt, and very excited to have met many great professional people from in and around the Tampa Bay area, and even some people nationally as well. So if you click on the guest network, you'll see the extensive network of guests, and if you click on the show cards, you'll see their show interviews, and so all the shows are streamed live here in the studio. There's also a link to the live stream for each and every show on the main page also. Also, after the show, you can catch me on demand at a number of sites, including tampabayradio.com. The show is put back up on iTunes for the podcast enthusiasts. Just search for That Business Show, and find me over at SoundCloud and my YouTube channel as well for all the show interview streams. You can also notice on my site that I sell real estate, so if you're in the market to buy or sell a home, please feel free to contact me. And again, on my contact form through the Tampa Bay Radio site is the best way to get me. And you can also email me, Jamie at tampabayradio.com. Got a great show planned for you today. In just a moment, we're going to be talking with Jonah Story. He's a brand and marketing strategist with a Songbird agency, so we'll be talking all about social media and how to position yourself effectively in this very difficult business and entrepreneurial environment, and how to set yourself apart from others. And also on the second part of the show, we'll be talking with Lisa Marie Jenkins, executive coach, consultant, and speaker, and also author of a book, Wake Up Beauty. And so stay tuned to hear that interview as well. So it's going to be a great show as always. So it's going to bring on my first guest. Jonah Story has worn many hats in his professional career, from business developer, speaker, copywriter, creative director, strategist, idea guy, and a trash cleaner as well, and has given him the unique ability to manage multidisciplinary projects and navigate complex challenges. Jonah has a knack for understanding people and how they think, and he doesn't see barriers. He sees opportunities attached to challenges. Jonah, welcome to the show today.
Hey, Jamie, thanks for having me.
So you've got quite of an extensive network of past careers. What's trash cleaner? What's that?
Can't be too big to do.
Was
the
that what you
job.
did when you were a teenager? You know, you started out and everything, and now you're in the brand and marketing strategist and everything, right?
Yeah.
Songbird agency. So you've taken quite a step in your career path here and everything. So congratulations on getting into the entrepreneurial spirit. So tell me about Songbird Agency and what this is about.
Well, about 5 years ago, I was coming off of working for a top software development company who worked with a DIY software to help small business owners and entrepreneurs get launched. And I probably worked with a few thousand entrepreneurs and throughout my course there, and could tell that it wasn't working. It was selling like hotcakes, but it was not working.
What wasn't working about the brand and everything? What was it lacking and stuff? And what was that? How did that lead to your inspiration to start Songbird Agency?
Yeah, and we'll get right into it. There are several organizations out there who sell a lot of digital services and DIY services, and they'll call it small business empowerment services. And on a large scale, on a scalable scale, it's not effective for a small business owner who really does need someone to talk to, a coach, an advisor, a mentor, while at the same time, a boutique approach. So someone who has that hand with them, holding with them all the way through the process, from soup to nuts. So I started Songbird to meet that gap.
Okay, so I'm over at your website, songbirdAgency.com. So talk to me about how your company works. What do you do for your clients and everything, and how do you work? I see on your website you have a collaborative approach for, that you work with your clients with. So talk to me about your approach.
Yeah, well, we're small business geared. So most all of our clients are small enterprise nonprofits, and anyone who would be considered the little guy probably in their industry. But definitely all of our clients are looking to grow. So they contact us for that. In today's marketplace, it's not enough to have an online presence. So we're not just your web developer, your digital strategist, your social media guy. And we provide a root, cure for the disease and the.
Okay, so you're not just a social media company. We see a lot of social media experts out there in the marketplace right now.
We do that, and that's certainly what gets us.
And I understand that, yeah, that's one of the arenas that you operate in. But you're more. I want to stress that you're more than just a social media outlet and everything. You're a brand strategist, a marketing expert. So talk to me about some of the different strategies that you employ for clients out there to set them apart from their competition.
Absolutely. I mean, in today's market, it's not enough to have an online presence and anecdotal marketing tactics. You've got to have something worth remembering, something your customers find refreshing and worthy of value over and above the options or substitutes. Can I give I can give an idea?
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually,
I definitely want to hear the ideas of how are you setting clients apart, in the marketplace.
So, for instance, one way we do this is by helping a company determine its values. You really got to do your best to be authentic in your selections. Comb through 10s, 20s, whatever, and find maybe five values that you think are values that you want to work into your company, or that you already are working into your company. Certainly a lot of companies call us during growth stage, but you got to define how these values are going to express through your company. That's important, right? So I know that there's a client that I worked with, for instance, out in Idaho. He's an accountant, runs a firm, and through the identity process that we use, he did this exercise, and the pushback was, how do I express this? And so we got to talking, and I found that he had a soft spot, that's for sure, and a recognition of the needs in other countries, and had some friends that served at an orphanage in Kenya, and I encouraged him to link up with them and give them exposure, put them on his email, put them on his editorial calendar, and do whatever he could, and even put them on his website. So he calls me back, a couple months later after that decision. We're working on other things, and he says, "Hey, just want to give you a heads up that was a great idea." He told me what happened was he was in the bidding for a contract, and the person called him and said, "I want to give you that contract." And he said, "Well, okay, why is that? Why are you giving me your business?" And the guy said, "It's because what you stand for." And he's like, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Well, I saw this excerpt of what you do." And he goes, "Because you value that." He goes, "I'm giving you my business." He goes, "You're not the cheapest guy, and I'm not even sure that you were the best, but I will tell you this: I can tell by that I can trust you, and that you have, your heart and your finances are going to the right place."
Well, that's
that's
good. I mean, because it's obviously got to be a challenge to set an accountant apart from other accountants, especially just the natural personality of an accountant is to be, very dry and to the point. And, obviously creating an online presence and also an offline presence as well around something that's, that's near and dear to their heart, something, that's very important. Now, you say you take clients through an exercise. Talk to me a little bit about what this exercise entails. Is there some types of questions? Is there an online thing that you take people through? Tell me a little bit more about this.
Yeah, I mean, in short, it could be just that simple too. Go look for a list of values and at least begin that. I mean, most small businesses I work with, they don't think like this, but big businesses do. They think of their identity, they think of their brand position, their brand strategy, and branding is not just a business card or a logo. That's by far an expressive aspect of it, the visual design aspect of it, but it is not in itself the brand identity. Your brand identity is rooted in your values. It's rooted in what you stand for, what moves you, what makes you want to grow when if profit and sales just aren't enough of a motivator.
Now, what are the different services that your company at Songbird Agency, again, learn more at songbirdAgency.com. Do you do website design, more than just social media? Do you do consulting? Talk to me about the different services that you offer to help, accentuate and make people stand out within the marketplace.
Yeah, I would say we're a full service company, but we have a heavy focus on brand positioning and differentiation. So if somebody's tired of not getting seen, even though they're spending all the money they need to get seen, but they're not getting remembered, they come to us because we help them figure out how to become more of a round peg in a square hole, so that they're remembered. And
so people can come to you with nothing, not even a website, and you can help them get the website up and running.
We work in startup, growth, and scale.
Okay,
so
and then you also work with experienced companies as well. So you're a jack of all trades, so to speak, in the marketing business, from startup to advanced, correct?
Well, a lot of companies call us while they're already in stride, and they just need someone to kind of help them. A lot of times companies will get to a place that's a bottleneck and or something that they did not think of. It's my job to go in and help them figure out what the gap is and close it.
And you're an agency versus not like a freelance company. So talk to me about the advantages and the differences between agencies and the freelance companies that are out there.
So, well, a freelancer would be just an individual who maybe has loose relationships and or even great friends, but they're not established in a particular method or an approach or a system. So you get together with one, and the next thing you know, hey, I've got a web guy, and I'm telling you, anybody who's listening to this will be able to identify if they've been in any entrepreneurial pursuit whatsoever. Hey, I've got a web guy. Now I need to find a social media guy. Oh, well, this guy doesn't know that guy, so I got to find mine on my own. So I'm going all over the place looking for that guy. Now I got to find a photographer. Oh man, I need a videographer. Boy, I should get YouTube going up, shouldn't I? So now what you have is a business owner effectively overtaking the creative director role, the creative strategist role. And eventually it's probably going to come to where it always was, a big catastrophe.
Yeah, I'm on your site again, songbirdAgency.com. I mean, you got looks like be about a staff of 8 people. I see you've got yourself on there, social media strategist, a cinematographer, photographer, developer, optimization ninja. That's an interesting
and
job.
Think of it more of like an intentional network. So we're 100% collaboration based, 100% remote, and 100% by project. So and that's at least to get us started. A lot of the people that are with me, they're all on their own too. These are not 100% W-2 staff. These are people who I've been working with for years, and we all work closely together. Now, what Songbird is the infrastructure. So, there's a project management system. You have 24/7 access to your project. You have a client success partner, someone who's dedicated to work with you directly. A lot of times that's me, depending on, what we're working on. But yeah, you definitely have a group of people that are used to walking and working with each other, just like you would at a normal agency. But we're not a normal agency because we don't carry the 401ks and all these other parts of the compensation package on a regular basis. So we don't have the overhead, and then of course that means that we compete on the price level.
Yeah, and I talk a lot about on this show about the importance of developing a brand, and so many people out there are just focused on doing the day-to-day work with whatever it is in their company. They don't develop the brand, and I always say on my show a lot of times is when I buy something, I don't buy the person, I buy the brand. So it's really important to have that brand and stuff. For people that don't have a brand, how quickly can your company, Songbird Agency, get them from nothing to at least something? I mean, a website, a branded entity, even a logo, I mean, something like that. How quickly can people get something up and running?
Oh man, hate to be on air and have that sent back to me in an email one time if I want a day off. So, I think the focus is doing it right. I'm a big measure twice, cut once guy, and normally I will have a client, prospect, somebody call me and say, hey, this is what I'm looking to do. This is what I'm looking to get it done, and I'll ask them, are you looking to get it done right? The big thing is I want to be your last stop, not just another one. Gotcha. So I'm going to take them down the route it needs to. So if the timing needs to change or they need to get their expectations, this here lies the point of having that boutique, that one-on-one, that somebody who really cares to give you the truth. Because when you work with big box companies, they cannot effectively meet the needs of small business owners. I was brought in by a big box company, local one, in fact. They're looking to get over in the digital strategy arena. We'll leave their name off. They brought me in to help them figure out their digital product suite. So what are we going to use for our customers?
Hold that point. I got to take a quick break. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Jonah Storia here on That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
Are you looking for a local real estate firm that knows the market and has your interests in mind? Then contact Jim McPeak at McPeak Real Estate Firm, a family-owned business whose agents have over 60-plus years of experience in the Tampa Bay market. Many of the agents are military veterans that know the VA process for buying a home and are proud to help our military members in any way they can. From residential to commercial real estate, McPeak Real Estate Firm is here to help. Contact Jim at 813-495-3875 and learn more at McPeakTeam.com.
Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage.
Hey there, it's Lynn Wise, the founder of Wise Business Advisors and Contractor Business Alliance. I am a certified value builder advisor, and I help business owners build a company that will allow them to have the business that they dreamed of when they started. Why did you go into business for yourself? I'm sure it was not to work 100 hours a week with no work-life balance and no financial freedom. What am I talking about? I'm talking about building a business that provides value to you and your family now and in the future. You can learn about the 8 essential areas of a business that you must build to have a business that can be an asset for your future. Go to wisebusinessadvisors.com and take the Value Builder score. It is free and will deliver your score immediately on how you are doing on building a valuable business for you and your family. Or call me at 772-834-8513 to learn more about the Value Builder system.
In the market for a reverse mortgage? Contact Access Reverse, a local company with personalized service in the Bay Area. Call them at 727-347-0305 or visit accessreverse.com for a no-cost, no-obligation consultation. They'll come to your home and speak with you about the best options for your reverse mortgage. Plus, they offer the lowest closing costs. Don't just get a reverse mortgage. Get the right reverse mortgage with Access Reverse. Visit accessreverse.com. NMLS number 4566. Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
This report is brought to you by Sam's Club. With the Sam's Club membership, you get incredible savings every time you shop. Try their tender boneless pork loin or delicious marinated Alaskan Copper River sockeye salmon and 16-ounce package of organic kale salad medley. Join and save. Sam's Club. Life is better in the club. See Club for details.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center.
We are still seeing heavy delays northbound on I-75 from 301 to just before I-4 because of an earlier crash that's still on the right shoulder. And then we're slow northbound on I-75 approaching Fowler because of a vehicle fire that has the right shoulder blocked. And now we have reports of a serious crash in Hillsborough County on Nebraska Avenue at Beers Avenue. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamston Uterwick Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
Today, partly cloudy in the morning with inland showers in the afternoon, high 85. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 71. Tomorrow, 20% chance of rain, high 86.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
Welcome back, everybody, to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Catch the show on here weekdays at 8 a.m. and learn more about the show over at TampaBayRadio.com. Currently talking with Jonas Story of Songbird Agency. Learn more about his company over at songbirdagency.com. And before the break, Jonah, we were talking about brand strategy, but let's carry over to marketing strategy and the differences therein and the importance of marketing strategy.
Okay. Yeah, and just a note on that last thing we left off, too. I just want to emphasize it. Listeners who are in small business field and, who are looking at work with big box companies, just beware. What's most important is that you get that one-on-one touch and that whoever you have intimately knows your business and understands, because without that, you think, if I'm just an accountant or somebody who does this all the time and everyone else does this all the time. The reality is, though, you're all getting the same speech. Where in that is differentiation, which is, part of brand positioning is helping them understand how they're different and helping them how to use that as a great speaking point over and over and over and over so that they are the one that get remembered. So just want to emphasize how important that is.
Okay, very good.
So work with your local business for that.
So marketing strategy, and we were talking a lot about brand strategy, but let's talk for a few minutes about marketing strategy and the importance therein and how you set people apart with the marketing strategy.
Sure. The major problem is that most marketing campaigns, they're based off old mindsets, Jamie. So, for example, I love my brand. It's such a wonderful brand. Why wouldn't they love it? I'll just tell I'll tell them all through my marketing campaign. But who exactly are you really marketing to? People do not buy what they're sold.
Right.
People do not buy what they're sold. They buy what they value.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you going to begin communicating that value? That's where marketing and branding begin to leave off. Marketing is really the introduction. It's where people actually begin to first meet you. The brand is what they're meeting.
What is some of the sources that you like to direct people to in terms of marketing? I mean, I use radio a lot, obviously. A lot of people want to use social media, television, commercials, things of that nature. How do you advise clients on the different marketing strategies? What works for some people, what doesn't work for other people?
Okay, so, there lies a problem. I also run the local meetup for what we call the bullseye tactic, and it's now, if you're more of a tech startup, I take this and I make it more into small business friendly. But there are 19 different channels that you can market through. The reality is the majority of your competition are probably all fledgling within the first, within the same 3 or 4 that you're going to as well. The problem with that is that now you've got this big brick wall to punch through versus trying to find a way around or over it. So, my job would be to expose you to new opportunities, but it's not just to give you information, because what I find my clients really like about us is that I don't just give them information, I give them leadership. So, hey, we're going to take a look at all these because no one else probably ever has. Let's consider it, let's understand, and let's move on if it's not applicable. But if it is, hey, we might find something nobody else has found. People like Dropbox and companies like that do that all the time. Why don't small businesses? Because they don't have someone to help them do it.
You say that a lot of people use the same 3 or 4 marketing channels, but you said there's 19 out there. What are the same 3 and 4 that you see people going to all the time?
SEO,
search engine optimization.
Oh, yeah, it's a big convo. How do I get optimized? How do I get up on the search engines? What about that Google? That's what I hear a lot. Search engine marketing, which is like PPC campaigns.
And I hear, I don't know if you've heard, and you mentioned Google. I hear about a change coming down with Google, and then they're going to, if your websites are not mobile friendly, they're not going to be appearing in search engines. I don't know if people have heard that, but that's a news story. I just came out last week. So if your sites are not mobile friendly, you may not be appearing in some of the Google searches. So that was a news story that was breaking just last week. So I'll go ahead and continue. I just want to throw that in there.
Yeah, and and to that point, if you're a small business, a local business, your localized approach is probably where you're getting most of your traffic, and it still goes back to some of the same winners, referrals, and great relationships. That trumps. So as long as you're doing a good job in that arena and you've got exposure, just stay out.
What is one good, or what do you consider the one good marketing resource that's not web based? I mean, are we talking like the general flyers, the radio, the television? What do you think is the best non web based form of marketing out there for the general entrepreneur?
Well, and I think most people are going to say, "Oh, well, networking." You've got all these different, big box networking groups that come all over the place, big franchises. But I think it's great just to find something that you love and start a group of people that have those interests. It doesn't have to be through Meetup. It could just be your own. Just when you're out and about, have something to plug people into. Every month or 2, have a little group meeting that you get together and you put a little email to all these people that you've been meeting. Say, hey, we're all going to hang out here. We're going to talk about X. Let's get together. And hey, you know what? A lot of business is birthed out of those relationships.
Yeah, the importance of networking is definitely a great source, and I always say that is the number one resource for referrals is a personal referral from somebody in a networking group. Jonah, got to wrap it up. Thank you very much. A great interview today and some great information. Thank you.
Yeah,
Jonah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And learn more about Jonah over at his website, songbirdagency.com, and you can reach him via email, jonah@songbirdagency.com, and we'll get that up on the show recap after the show over at tampabayradio.com. Stay tuned. Coming back from the break, we'll be talking with Lisa Marie Jenkins here on That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
Hi, welcome to Yeager's. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeager's, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring-type products, hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tile, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles, and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
MyFreeYP.com. 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 Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies, and rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, for a man age 45 non-tobacco user, it's $1 million of coverage and $75 per month level rate for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco user can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110 per month, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rate guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Term Busters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote at 1-800-862-8376. That's 1-800-862-8376. You're probably paying more than you should. Call Term Busters at 1-800-862-8376 or visit our website at termbusters.net. Remember, 1-800-862-8376. Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-tobacco underwriting. Exam required to qualify.
This report is brought to you by Account Temps. Do you need accounting and finance professionals for long-term or recurring projects? If you would prefer the same professional to handle your project through its duration, the Account Temp salaried professional service may be the right solution for you. Learn more at AccountTemps.com. Account Temps, a Robert Half company.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center.
We are still seeing delays on I-75 northbound from the Selman up to just before I-4. The earlier crash approaching I-4 has been cleared from the roadway. Heavy delays continue northbound on 275 across the Howard Franklin to about West Shore. And we still have a serious crash in Tampa near the intersection of Nebraska and Beers. See traffic problems, Gully Injury Firm of Abrahamston, Udowick, Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
Winds, Weather Center forecast. Expect some showers today, 50% chance of rain. Could see a thunderstorm as well as the high temps today get into the mid-80s. Tonight's low 70s. Tomorrow, upper 80s, 20% chance of showers. Impact Radio, 1250 winds.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Winds WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
Welcome back, everybody, to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business here on this early Monday morning. And keep in mind, you can find this show here weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ. And the show is all about our business owners, entrepreneurs, political leaders, and people making a difference in and around the community. As always, I extend an invite to fellow business owners who would like to make an appearance on this show. Feel free to contact me. You can either get me via email, jamie@tampabayradio.com, or you can head over to my website, which is tampabayradio.com, and contact me through the contact form. Just give me a quick pitch of what it is that you're doing, and there is no charge to come into the studio here, so don't let that stop you. I'm having a lot of fun doing this format in my 11th week, and building up quite an extensive network of professionals, and learn more about the past guests over via the guest network tab at tampabayradio.com, and catch me on demand at iTunes. If you're a podcast enthusiast, you can catch all of our past shows there, and also learn more, as always, about the show over at tampabayradio.com. If you're just tuning in on the first part of the show, we're talking with Jonah Story with Songbird Agency about brand strategy and marketing strategy, and you can learn more about his company over at songbirdagency.com. And I'll go and bring on my second guest for the show. Lisa Marie Jenkins is a Huffington Post blogger and has delivered keynotes and workshops to professional women at Google, Xerox, and many other women's organizations. Prior to launching her own consulting company, she spent over 20 years in senior sales and marketing roles at Fortune 500 high-tech companies and was recognized as one of the 200 most influential women in her industry. Lisa, welcome to the show today.
Thank you, Jamie. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much for taking some time out of your day and stopping in to talk with me this morning. So I'm over at your website. People can make note of lisamariejenkins.com, and I want to start with your book here, Wake Up Beauty. It's Not About the Prince. So talk to me about your book, Wake Up Beauty, and what this is about and your inspiration in writing this book.
Well, the inspiration came from 3 places, but I think I'll start with a little bit about the title and where it came from, because I don't want to offend anyone that's male watching this, because it's definitely not a feminist book. The title, Wake Up Beauty, it's not about the prince. If I could give it a real title, it would probably be something more like, I'm Really Okay Without a Man. That didn't sound very good. So, but Wake Up Beauty, I worked with a counselor years ago, and I was going through a breakup, and she was helping me with it. And she said, honey, don't you know that the biggest, fattest lie we've ever been told as women is that when Prince Charming kissed the princess, she did not wake up. No. She did not wake up. She actually went to sleep on her own passion and purpose and worth, because she believed romantic love was meant to provide that to her.
Very interesting. I mean, so you often talk about how women go to sleep on themselves and their own passion, purpose, and worth. Once they find their Prince Charming, I find it interesting, but I've never thought about it from that perspective. Elaborate on that for us.
Sure. So we're conditioned. I think we all are. Men can do this as well, but women especially have been conditioned, and it goes centuries and centuries that. To be whole, to be complete, to be safe, we have to have a man. And even women like myself, who was highly successful financially and independent financially, could take care of myself, I still felt this lack of wholeness, or that there was something wrong with me if I didn't have a partner or a mate. And I realized that there were lots of women, and lots of powerful women, that still were kind of carrying that misbelief. So that was really my story of wholeness. But it can be anything. It's the whole idea that we look outside of ourselves for wholeness, for fulfillment, that it's something outside that we need to achieve, as opposed to coming from inside to find our own passion and purpose and live that outward powerfully. So the book for me really came from 3 places. First of all, whenever I told anyone my mother's story, she had one of the most horrific upbringings I could describe, and she did amazing things with her life. So when I would tell people her story, they'd be like, oh my goodness, you need to write a book about her life. And today is actually 11 years that she passed away, but interestingly enough. And then
you have her story in the book?
I do have her story.
Touch on that. What are some of the components of that?
So my mother would be 89 if she was alive, and she was born in very rural Missouri on a farm with 7 kids, made to work as a field hand, very young, 7 years old.
Okay.
Went to school, worked as a field hand back and forth. They were all encouraged to quit school by 6th grade. Which she was the only one of 7 that did not, and she actually finished high school. But her father, pretty mean, alcoholic, pretty severe, pretty poor. I could tell you some pretty graphic details, but anything you can imagine in a rural, ignorant environment in the early 1900s was probably true. And she went on to be a very successful, believe it or not, real estate agent.
Oh, wow.
She did really, really well in St. Louis. She did that for about 17 years and changed her life around. If you had met her, you would have thought she came from a very polished, regal family, so she was very self-taught. But then I had a coach, speaking coach throughout my career at Cisco, because I did a lot of public speaking to IT solution provider partners. And I told him that I was thinking about breaking out on my own and becoming a workshop facilitator and a speaker. And he said, well, you have to have a book. So that's what really kicked me in the butt to do it. But the other piece was, as I healed my own story about I'm so okay without a man, I realized that if I could share my 15 years of that soul searching and healing and discovery, my greatest aha moments that happened, if I could share that with another woman and help her transcend that more quickly than me, that was my gift to the world.
Now, where is your book available again? Wake Up Beauty. I know it's on your website.
Yeah,
here,
Wake Up Beauty. You can get it at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, any indie bookseller, so your favorite book retailer.
Okay, you've got it in the bookstores and everything?
Yep, it came out February 10th this year.
Oh, congratulations. I see a lot of people write books and they go to Amazon and they have problems getting it into the storefronts and everything, so congratulations on getting it.
You have to be published, so self-published is what gets you the distribution into bookstores.
Wow, that's a whole other set of talking points right there, and something that I'm very interested in myself. I got a book in process myself and everything, and I'm always wondering, how do you get that thing out there? And so congratulations on getting this book out there. Again, this is Wake Up Beauty, and you can get it easily over on Amazon or in the storefronts, like she was saying, and also over on her website, LisaMarieJenkins.com, where you can also learn more about her as well. Now, Lisa, women often covet perfectionism and proving competence. What is the biggest asset in the 21st century that needs to be fostered and invoked in the world?
A lot of healing, a lot of empathy, a lot of compassion. Leaders were being called for leadership that's authentic, that's transparent, that cares more about the bottom line is just profit. The bottom line needs to include creating impact in the world. and caring about the greater good. And I think that women automatically bring these emotional skills, this, I'll call them soft skills or emotional intelligence, so the empathy, the collaboration, the intuition. And yet women lack a lot of confidence and competence. And I want to, not competence, they lack the confidence to take action. So if you think of masculine and feminine, and not necessarily men versus women when I say that, but masculine is more just taking action. Feminine is more of our wisdom, and if you want to say the child is our joy, right? But so women have a lot of wisdom, and they're used a lot in business, I see, especially in large corporations, for their great work ethic, their intellectual capital, but they aren't always bringing their own vision and their ideas and speaking up enough about what they would like to see do differently, and they're following kind of the old authoritative patriarchal way of doing business. So that's what I really want to bring forth, is women to find the courage and confidence and not just focus on competence, because they are competent. Women earn 60 to 65% all degrees in the U.S. today. Women are 50% of the workforce, yet we're still only on average about 14% of leadership roles. So there's this competence issue and this perfectionism and others focused that women just naturally gravitate because we're the nurturers. But there's the action part, the confidence that comes from taking risks, speaking out, willing to fail, and learning to be decisive, and then learning to be resilient to, when you fail, get up and do it again.
Well, how do you consult and coach women on, taking a stand in the workplace and setting themselves apart? I mean, you talk about, they lack the confidence to maybe ask for a raise or, ask for that promotion. I mean, what is it that's holding them back that you see when you're talking to people on a personal level and stuff, the women out there? How to the women that are listening out there, what's some of the advice you can give them to help them, elevate themselves in the workplace and make them, gain that confidence that they need?
So confidence and action are interrelated, but the courage and passion are foundation. So think of courage is the foundation and passion is your fuel. And courage is a muscle. It's something you have to practice, you have to build. So you take little risks. You start doing, like you speak up in a meeting when you want to speak up, but you're scared to speak up in a meeting. Go ahead and push through that and do it. And then the next time it won't be quite as hard. So it's about learning to take up more space, that I have the right to be here. I have something valuable to share. And I think part of the reason women have held back is, well, there's several reasons. We've been conditioned. If you go back to grade school, Jamie, girls were praised for being quiet. Girls were praised for perfectionism. Girls were praised for following the rules. Mm-hmm. So it turned a lot of women into approval seekers, which is about perfectionism. And so that doesn't work in the real world. That's certain. None of those things help you in the business world.
No, you got to be aggressive. You got to
be assertive. You got to be assertive. You got to be aggressive. You got to be willing to take risks.
Yeah, you don't get into leadership roles without stepping on a few feet and making a little noise out there.
Absolutely.
So you definitely got to be conditioned to do that. Now, you're always hearing, about women in leadership and equality issues. How do we filter between what is relevant and what is just a form of affirmative action for women?
Yeah, so that's a tough one. So I always, especially when I'm speaking in a mixed audience of men and women, I always want to play that down, because to me that whole feminist thing can have a very negative connotation, and it goes back to the 70s, right? And when the anger, the women were taking a defensive posture against men. So that's gone, right? Maybe we needed a little bit of that anger to move the women's movement forward, but now it's more about, for me, it's about balance. It's about understanding that the greater the diversity of thought and the greater diversity of skill sets, the better problem solving, and therefore the greater business results. And so women naturally bring a different skill set to the table, because we do have, sorry, Jamie, women have more emotional intelligence than the average guy.
I say all the time, I lack emotion. I'm strictly a logical thinker, not strictly, but so much of so I'm always thinking logically.
And those are rules of thumb, right? Yeah. Not all men and women. It's about a masculine and feminine balance. So I think we're way out of balance, and we're in a place, and in the U.S. we already have equality.
I personally like having a strong female presence in my work environment, because yes, I lack that emotional component that is so important in many things in business with client relations and stuff, and I'm terrible. Some people think that I'm just so dry and to the point and everything, and the women say, Jamie, you need to do this, you need to do that, or I'll say, all right, why don't you talk to them for me? and it helps me in so many situations.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a very good talking point a very good point that you raised right there.
Absolutely. And I'll cut you some slack here. There's actually a physiological reason why it's easier for women to have more emotional intelligence. So the left and the right brain, you think the left brain is the masculine, right? It's the linear, it's the analytical, it's the logical, it's the action. The right brain is more of the intuitive, the wisdom, the empathy, the compassion, those sort of things. Well, there's only one channel that connects the left and right brain, and it's called the corpus callosum. And in a man, that channel is actually much smaller, much more narrow. So you guys literally have a bandwidth problem.
Interesting.
In processing between left and right brain. So cut you a little slack. But physiologically, it's not as easy for you as it is for most women. But for me, that confidence is huge because I think it's time in the world. Women have to start bringing this. We have to get out of this patriarchal authority way of doing things. It got us where we are today, and we needed it. We needed all pure, linear, analytical, logical action. It got us bridges, it got us technology, but now we got to start healing and transforming the world. And the Western woman, we have equality here in the U.S. Empowerment is a choice, whether you step into that power and you find your voice and you use it. And this is where I saw a lot of women in large corporations. They felt like they either had to do it that masculine way, which wasn't comfortable, it wasn't authentic to them, so they just didn't speak up, or they would drop out and become entrepreneurs where they felt like they could be themselves. And that's what's really happening, I see, in more of the corporate sectors today.
Very interesting stuff right there. If you're just tuning in, we're talking with Lisa Marie Jenkins here about her book, Wake Up Beauty. And in just a second here, got to take a quick break, but I want to hear about your role and how you got involved with Ariana Huffington over at the Huffington Post. You're a blogger over there, so definitely want to hear that story and how you got involved with that. So if you're just tuning in, you've been listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
Are you looking for a local real estate firm that knows the market and has your interests in mind? Then contact Jim McPeak at McPeak Real Estate Firm, a family-owned business whose agents have over 60-plus years of experience in the Tampa Bay market. Many of the agents are military veterans that know the VA process for buying a home and are proud to help our military members in any way they can. From residential to commercial real estate, McPeak Real Estate Firm is here to help. Contact Jim at 813-495-3875 and learn more at McPeakTeam.com.
Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage.
Hey there, it's Lynn Wise, the founder of Wise Business Advisors and Contractor Business Alliance. I am a certified value builder advisor, and I help business owners build a company that will allow them to have the business that they dreamed of when they started. Why did you go into business for yourself? I'm sure it was not to work 100 hours a week with no work-life balance and no financial freedom. What am I talking about? I'm talking about building a business that provides value to you and your family now and in the future. You can learn about the 8 essential areas of a business that you must build to have a business that can be an asset for your future. Go to wisebusinessadvisors.com and take the Value Builder score. It is free and will deliver your score immediately on how you are doing on building a valuable business for you and your family. Or call me at 772-834-8513 to learn more about the Value Builder system.
In the market for a reverse mortgage? Contact Access Reverse, a local company with personalized service in the Bay Area. Call them at 727-347-0305 or visit accessreverse.com for a no-cost, no-obligation consultation. They'll come to your home and speak with you about the best options for your reverse mortgage. Plus, they offer the lowest closing costs. Don't just get a reverse mortgage. Get the right reverse mortgage with Access Reverse. Visit accessreverse.com. NMLS number 4566. Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
This report is brought to you by Sam's Club. With the Sam's Club membership, you get incredible savings every time you shop. Try their tender boneless pork loin or delicious marinated Alaskan Copper River sockeye salmon and 16-ounce package of organic kale salad medley. Join and save. Sam's Club. Life is better in the club. See club for details.
from the Bright House Network's Traffic Center.
We are still seeing delays on I-75 northbound between the Selman and State Road 60. Heavy northbound delays on 275 from the hump of the Howard Franklin to West Shore. Have a serious crash in Pinellas County on 19 near Haynes Bayshore Road. Also a crash on 18th Avenue South at 16th Street South. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Udowick Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
Today, partly cloudy in the morning with inland showers in the afternoon, high 85. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 71. Tomorrow, 20% chance of rain, high 86.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
Welcome back, everybody, to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Catch the show on here weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ, and also learn more about the show over at TampaBayRadio.com. If you're just tuning in, we're talking with Lisa Marie Jenkins here. We've been talking about her book, Wake Up Beauty, but you also are a blogger with the Huffington Post, Ariane Huffington, and a very well-known news organization. How did you get involved with that organization?
So, Jamie, this is a great story, and it's a fun story. I've been blogging since the very end of November of 2014. I was at a conference in October in New York City called Emerging Women Live. I'll just call it, it's businesswoman meets consciousness. Really, really cool. She was one of the keynotes. And her keynote, I don't remember the exact title, but I wrote a blog series following that conference of all the keynotes I really liked, and I kind of did a recap of their keynotes and my perception of their keynotes. Well, Ariana's was basically how to sleep your way to the top.
Wow. Interesting.
but she meant literally sleep. She meant sleeping is how you get to real success in life.
Gotcha.
Because of her story, and she literally had a physical break. But when I got to, she was my number 5 blog from that series, and when I got to my notes to write my blog, I noticed that she had given out her email address. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to email her. I'm going to email her because I wanted to thank her. I wanted nothing from her. I wasn't going to ask her for anything. I purely emailed her because how cool is it when somebody like Ariana Huffington, one of Forbes' most powerful women, she's written 14 books, started the Huffington Post, the world's largest news aggregator, right? And she was somebody on stage that you're like, oh, I could have a cup of coffee with her and just hang out and just kind of shoot the breeze with her. It's like, this woman is real. She was authentic. She was transparent. She told her true story. And I wanted to acknowledge her for that. And in her, she also talked about, I don't know if this helped me a little bit or not, but she talked about her mentor and friend as Padma Say Warrior, who is the chief executive strategy technology officer, SVP at Cisco. And I worked in her organization at one time at Cisco. I didn't report to her. She was a couple layers above me, obviously. And, but I mentioned that I had worked for her organization. She emailed me back personally 4 days later, and she said, thank you, my dear Lisa, for writing. She said, I've copied my senior editor, and if you'd like to be a blogger for the Huffington Post, please send your bio to her in your first post.
Oh, wow.
I just kind of stunnedly looked at my inbox for about 5 minutes going, is there really an email in my inbox from Ariana Huffington?
Right.
So it was really cool. So when you really aren't trying to get, but you're just being a giver and you're just being transparent, and things flow to you. And that's probably my biggest advice for anybody that's thinking of leaving a corporate job and moving into an entrepreneur. When you're aligned with your purpose and you have passion, things like that just keep unfolding for you. And that's what's happened for me since I
That's a great story.
jumped into this.
I mean, it's a great story. I think it exemplifies a point that I raise a lot of times is don't fear people that are in power. Just as you didn't, email them, talk to them. They're just, they started out on the bottom just like everyone else. And a lot of people want to help people. They want to tell their story and give some guidance. And so that's a great story, how you set yourself, apart and got you obviously into a very well-known news organization, the Huffington Post. And obviously your blogs are seen, worldwide every single day through this organization.
Right. It's a really cool.
So very interesting. Talk to me now about your core offerings and what you do for who is your clients out there. Who are you looking for to help, and what are ways that you help people out there in the community? So let's talk about that.
So any professional businesswoman is kind of my niche, and I focus on leadership development training. It's a 2-day course, and I can do that in corporations, or I could even do it with a group of entrepreneur-type women as well. But I also do, I'm speaking this summer at the Microsoft World Partner Conference, and I'm speaking, and it's a mixed audience, I'm speaking on gender and generational diversity and why that's an economic necessity today in the 21st century. And then I'm also speaking on, I'm doing a workshop on how to become a visionary in your own life. And so I do various topics, but they all stem around that. And I also do speaker presentation training as well. It's a 2-day course.
Very cool, very cool. So what are, some of the best ways for, women to begin to authentically lead as women? We've touched on that in the last segment, but let's come back around to that now and everything, that when you're consulting women, how do you guide them to lead, effectively within, organizations?
I think, first of all, women have to get really tuned in to who they are authentically, and that they're not doing it because someone else told them to do it a certain way, or this is the way they believe they're supposed to do it, or because other pressure. That they have to get aligned with their authentic self. But I think it's about bringing your own natural talents, and that we're moving away, thank God, from this authoritative type of learning, and we're moving into a more of a peer-related learning, where somebody only needs to be a couple steps ahead of you for you to learn from them. And people, especially the millennials, are bringing this. They are not about authority. They are not about dictatorship. They are all about passion and creativity. And so they get this, and women get this. And so it really will be the millennials that are going to they're going to be in 10 years, they're going to be 75% of our workforce.
Yeah, we had a great discussion last week on the millennials and the baby boomers on last Wednesday. We were talking about that. But go ahead and continue your point. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So absolutely. So millennials get that. Women get that. Women just need a little courage to bring that so that we start creating more balance. And so for women, I think my book is about taking you into a deep journey inward so that you can discover what you're really passionate about and being authentic and getting aligned with that so that you can live that outwardly powerfully. And I do believe that the Western woman has to kind of lead this, because we are, in North America, we already are empowered and have equality here. And there's many women throughout the world that still can't speak for themselves. In the Middle East and in Africa, they're second-class citizens. They're still being, abused and mutilized and all kinds of horrific things. And I think that I remember seeing a quote from the 2009 Vancouver Peace Summit, and they quoted Dalai Lama, and he said, "The world will be saved by the Western woman." And I believe that's true. So not only is it an opportunity for the individual woman here to take responsibility for her own passion and happiness in her role, but it's also her responsibility to do that, to help lead us into a new level of evolution.
Yeah, and we're talking again about Lisa Marie Jenkins' book, Wake Up Beauty, which you can find over at lisamariejenkins.com, as well as Amazon and all the major storefronts out there. So real quick, got about a minute left, but how can organizations and large companies use the information in your book?
How can they use the information in my book? Well, it's really written to a woman. In the first, it's broken up into 3 sections, but the first third is really directed at women and women finding that power and realizing why it's so important they find their own power and living that outwardly. But the rest of the book is any human being. It's about learning self-compassion and why vulnerability is important, and how to be your best friend, and how to start tuning out or quieting that inner critic that tells us we can't, and start upping the volume on our own inner wisdom.
Oh, some great information, and thank you very much, Lisa, for stopping in this morning and talking to us about your book and everything.
Thank you, Jamie. It was fun.
Thank you very much. And if you're just tuning in, we're just talking with Lisa Marie Jenkins, the author of Wake Up Beauty, and learn more about her over at lisamariejenkins.com. And also you can contact her via email, lisa@lisamariejenkins.com, if you're interested in learning more about herself and her coaching and consulting as well. So she definitely is geared towards helping professional women out there in the workplace. And again, learn more about her over at lisamariejenkins.com. Well, we got to wrap up another great show here on That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, so be sure to tune in tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. here on That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Have a great day, everybody.